Yesterday, Drake Maye apparently went for an MRI, according to Ben Volin of the Boston Globe. After practice, got a looky-loo at his knee. What's your response to that, Bert? What do you think? Should we be concerned?
I mean, I think you're always concerned if a guy gets evaluated, but the people I talked to didn't have much concern at all. So I think he's fine. At least that's every indication that I've gotten. And that's a long flight. So I think if he wasn't okay, then and maybe it's something you want to check out before you go. But if he wasn't okay, I don't think they'd be putting him on the plane.
Do you know that every time someone tells me he's fine, I'm thinking he's less fine?
Why?
Because I don't think that anybody's going to tell you the truth on Drake Maye if he is hurt. And he might be fine. Hear me out.
Fine as in he's going to play on Sunday. But, I mean, who knows? I mean, if he's getting an MRI, there is some reason for concern.
Exactly, and that's how I feel about it. To send what is he, 21? 22?
22.
He's 22 years old. He's got a good knee, right? This is not an older player. This isn't a guy with a history. He's got a good knee.
Yeah.
22 years old. Yeah. Going to send him for an MRI after a practice on a random Wednesday. Mm-hmm. It just seems...
It's covering your ass, too.
It seems a little much. And... when Zoe tells me he's fine, and Phil Perry and Bert Breer, and all you guys are saying he's fine, I'm like, if he wasn't, they wouldn't tell you. If he wasn't fine and something was going on, they're not telling you that. They're going to bury it because that's what good teams do. That's what smart teams do. They're like, oh, no, he's fine, because they know he's going to play on Sunday and play through whatever it is, so they can get away with saying that. If there were real concern, I don't think they'd be sounding the alarm, because I think they are in a position right now where they know they're already facing crap from some people for having him out there to begin with. So they're already sort of sensitive to that.
So why would
protecting him?
Why would you push him out there if he wasn't okay, based on the circumstances that exist right now? That you're going over to London, that you're a 1-5 team. That why would you do that?
Because they want to win a football game on Sunday.
Right. So
that's why. And he gives them their best chance to win. And I think that became obvious on Sunday.
Okay.
Against the Texans.
He plays on Sunday. Mm-hmm. I think that's a sign it's not anything major. So I don't know what your suspicion is here, that there's a loose ligament or something like that. But, if he's going to play on Sunday, I think it's a pretty good indication that he's okay, because they're not going to risk this isn't the sort of spot where you put your rookie quarterback at some sort of massive risk. I think it is fair, like you said, to assume he's dealing with something.
There's something there. And then we have the situation with this offense that involves JaLynn Polk, by the way, who believes he has the best hands in the league. Did you know that?
Mm-hmm.
He feels like his drops are not an issue at all. Gerard Mayo has started to talk about benching starting players and guys not getting reps. Is he the guy we should look at the top of the list?
I mean, to say those things, I think, is interesting, and it reminds me of, and I told this story on TV last night, of Brandon Merriweather when he was a rookie, and I was working for the Metro West Daily News at the time, and our stories would wind up in the Herald, and so Wes Welker had just gotten there, and Brandon Merriweather was playing corner at the time. If you guys remember, in 2007 they started him at corner, and so Merriweather was covering Wes in practice every single day. So I got Merriweather after practice. And, I asked him and what that's been like and everything. And he's over the top, so much praise for Wes, right? And one of his quotes was, "I get to go up against the best slot receiver in the NFL every day." The next day in the team meeting, my story was up on the overhead projector. And Bill told the room, "I got something to read you guys." And he reads the quote, and he goes, "Brandon Merriweather, how the would you know who the best slot receiver in the NFL is?" And Brandon Merriweather didn't talk to the media again for a month.
That's about right now.
So, this sort of, I'm reminded of that story when you hear rookies talk this way about the league, right? It usually doesn't go over great.
There's a lot of good receivers in the league. And how about him chirping last week? They were 2 days after the game. He still thought he was in bounds. And you saw the tape. You saw the replay. I was in bounds. No, you weren't.
So this is curious to me, too, because this is a guy who's his character coming out of Washington was considered really good. This this could be a future team captain, all of that.
Because real quick, I had Mayo before the last game, and he goes, we were talking about things that happened in the game they could have won against Miami. And he's like, that catch, he wasn't in. Like, he knows that now.
Yeah.
But he didn't know that after that, and he's still talking about it.
Right.
That's an issue.
Right.
Like, there's something going on with him.
So I don't know. It's like the chirping and the talking. Like, it's. I hate telling people to shut up because like it's our job for them not to shut up, right? But like, there's a element of stuff that happens when things start to come undone that. Like you have to have your radar up for here, and it's these sorts of comments that sometimes you see when teams are coming undone.
When are the locker rooms shutting down? I know it's in the process of getting.
Well, I don't like. I think like there's going to be some sort of compromise there. The league doesn't want to do it either. I know like that. There's a feeling. When
you say league, you mean
the NFL? The NFL,
not the players.
The NFL is pushing for more access in just about every way.
Right.
Because the NFL can sell those pieces of access.
Social content teams.
Every piece of access that they can sell, they will sell. And so they want more access, not less. Like it's like the Hard Knocks off-season thing, right? Like they want more content that they can put up on social media, that they can push out to young people, that they can sell in every single way. And so I think that thing's far from done. But I think the way it's done is going to change a little bit. Like it might be reporters can be in the locker room, but the interviews, I think some of the teams, I think the Patriots are one of the teams that are now like the reporters can be in the locker room, but the interviews are outside. I think more stuff like that's likely.
Let's grab some of your calls with Bert Breer. We go to Bob. He's in Needham. Hi, Bob.
First off, so this is mainly for you. Do you think that the lack of practices and hitting in pads has contributed to the injuries? But I mean, they're widespread. You guys used to have 6 preseason games. You used to have been hitting in pads all the time. But, now they barely hit at all. The muscle memory. Don't you think that contributes to all these injuries?
Yeah, so it's interesting you say that, Bob. I think what's happened is that you have teams that are healthier over the summer, and then there's a spike in injuries over the first month of the season. And I will say, like, that more teams, when I was out on my camp trip this summer, were going full pads through 2.5-hour practices, maximizing every second they could have. And I think that was a result of some data the league gave to the teams that showed that there were a ton of injuries in the first month of the season. And so certain teams are trying to curtail that. I would say, like, the one anecdotal piece of evidence I have is Sean Payton runs one of the most physical, like, runs a Parcells training camp, or as close to it as you can under the rules now. And they've had zero soft tissue injuries through 6 weeks. So there is something to that, to the idea of callousing your team. And more teams were doing it this summer. And you look at the teams that were there at the end last year, Kansas City, San Francisco, Baltimore, Detroit, all 4 of those teams have really, really hard training camps and practice hard all year.
Nick in North Attleboro. Nick. Oh, we get it. Go back to Nick. We'll see if we can fix that. Jake in Boston, go ahead.
What's up, boys? Listen, if the cop that pulled over Christian Barmore had dressed up like a tree and popped out of the middle of nowhere wearing a hidden camera instead of being perfectly polite while wearing a body camera, who do you think would have been killed? The cop or Barmore?
Is this about Jake getting...
This is about Jake getting punked.
Punked by the tree guy?
Yeah. Jake, you jumped too. You screamed.
Funniest video on the internet.
I can't stop watching it.
I
his
need to
Brady
see it.
jersey, and he's got his shopping bags.
Who are you with?
What?
Is that what he says to him? Who are you with?
Is that what he said?
It's hilarious.
Let's try Nick in North Attleboro again. Nick.
Hey, what's up, fellas? How we doing?
How are you?
So I was talking to my neighbor Dave again.
Nice.
He's back. By the way, neighbor Dave is a real neighbor. He has explicit instructions if he calls in to say neighbor Dave in North Attleboro. So if he's ever a caller, he's not a current caller. But anyway, so we talked on 2 points, him and I. One, he's still adamant that Mayo's got to go. And while I don't think Mayo has to go, I kind of agree. Dave's point is that he doesn't have this team disciplined or ready enough. I mean, first play kickoff formation issues. I kind of agree with him on that. Mayo might need to tighten it up a little bit. Second thing, Dave was really pissed that Mayo.
Okay, there goes your phone.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry on the lining up on a kickoff. You're a veteran player. They brought you in. They signed you. You start the season on PUP. You're finally cleared to play. And you can't take it upon yourself to understand what the rules are, and you're going to leave early before the ball's caught? That's not on Gerard Mayo. I'm sorry. The special teams units have been cleaned up this year. Yeah. They're better on special teams.
No one's telling him.
That's on Taki, okay? Yeah. So that's on him. That's a player mental error. All right? So that one and Dietrich Wise lining up in the neutral zone, those are not on Gerard Mayo.
Right.
It's up to Gerard Mayo if you don't want to play those players, though.
No, I do.
That's where it becomes Mayo's issue.
Yeah, I mean, like there's two separate like buckets with the penalties. You see some bad team penalties with them, which I would characterize like a bad team penalty as like you're not good enough to block this guy, so you jump off sides. You're not good enough to you hold, right?
Personal foul.
There's stuff like that happens with bad teams. It's happening with the Patriots. That I'm not saying it's acceptable, but it's happening. Then there's like Keon White, who it was a high hit on the quarterback and then a horse collar within like a 10-play stretch. And it's like, dude, stop being a moron. Like, no one thinks you're a badass doing that. Like, that to me is the stuff that's inexcusable and the stuff that I think that they do have to police. And they do have, because that's the type of stuff that's going to wind up killing you. Because it's going to be there as you get better as a team. And you would think, again, the lunging to hold somebody or tackling somebody on that stuff as you get better is going to go away. What won't go away is like the cultural mistakes. And when you're letting stuff like the Keon White thing go, that's more of a problem.
Hey, if you like that clip, check out more videos from Zolak and Bertrand right here. For more Patriots analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. And for all the latest from the Sports Hub, download the app at 985thesportshub.com.